Hi and welcome to Drummers Review. I'm Matt and today we're going to be taking a look at a vintage series shell pack from Sonor. The kit we have in the studio today is a vintage 322 configuration, a 3-piece shell pack in California blue finish and consists of a 13 by 8 inch rack tom, 16 by 14 inch floor tom, 22 by 14 bass drum and a matching 14 by 5.75 snare drum. Accompanying the kit, Sonor have provided their HS LT 2000 lightweight hardware set and a 4000 series tom stand. The look and the style is based on the 1950s Sonor made drums, but in addition of some of their more modern features to bring it right up to date. From the T-rod bass drum claws to the teardrop lugs and even the 1950s script logo. The shells are all 6mm 9-ply of cross-laminated German beech, featuring rounded bearing edges, and the prices start from £2,400 with the snare costing an extra £650. Let's take a listen before we come back for some of our comments on our experience of this kit. The California blue wrap on this kit just oozes classy vintage vibes. If we had been sent any of the other colours, we would probably be saying exactly the same thing. Every detail to recreate a vintage look has been adhered to. The lugs, wrap, hoops, logo, the badge, the bass drum legs and the snare strainer. All the toms are fitted with Sonor's 2.3mm triple flange steel super profile hoops, which were redesigned from the 1950s originals. Sonor have also utilised their OSM shell construction techniques, which stands for Optimum Shell Measurements. This means that the shells are slightly undersized to allow their drum head to float better on the bearing edge for easier tuning and longer sustain, similar to that used on a timpani. The retro teardrop lugs house Sonor's modern tune-safe technology, which prevent tuning rods from loosening even under extreme tension. Another nod to the past is the tom mount, floor tom leg holders and the bass drum spurs. Although not taken from 1950s kits, these were from their 1970s very popular Phonics series, as these proved to be much sturdier than the ones from the 50s kits. Heads-wise, the kit came supplied with Remo-made coated ambassadors over clear ambassadors on the toms. The snare was fitted with a coated ambassador over clear snare side, and on the bass drum we had a coated power white black dot with an unported vintage natural power head on the reso side. Once tuned, the bass drum instantly transported Nick back to the 1950s with that warm, drier, mellow tone, and it reacted really quickly. No doubt thanks to the bearing edges and the shallower depth. The toms sounded great straight out of the box with only minor adjustments to the tuning. They were naturally harmonious and sang beautifully. One point to bear in mind is, if you sit high on your kit, is that getting the floor tom up to a decent height might be tricky due to the length of the legs and the depth of the drum. A minor issue, but we felt we had to point it out. The snare drum, with its offset 8 lugs top and bottom, gave us a wide tuning range and really was a favourite of ours in the studio. Rim shots were clear and sharp, we got a very controlled sustain and the retro snare release functioning perfectly. The kit as a whole felt great and was a joy to play. With this in mind, if you were looking to get that taste of tradition from a modern kit, Sonor aimed to bring the past to life, and they have achieved this perfectly. Live, we think the sensitive, focused and organic overall characteristic of Beach would lend itself perfectly to jazz, fusion and blues, but it has been used by some rock drummers. Coming in at £2,400 for a 3-piece shell pack and an extra £650 to add the snare drum, there is no doubt that these drums are towards the top end of most people's budget for a 3-piece kit. But as we have seen over the last few years, there are plenty of companies adding a vintage vibe kit to their catalogue as demand grows for that old school sound. We hope you've enjoyed this review, and as always, feel free to leave your comments and thoughts. Please click on the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can get notifications on our future videos. And we'll see you next time here at Drummers Review.